we got pregnant our senior summer, so that was June of 2005. I think just my initial reaction was this, wow, this is really happening, you know? Internally, I just felt numb. I'm 18 years old. After that, we started having conversations of what it was gonna look like. She actually came to the clinic, and I think that's when she was getting more information. For me, I was doing a lot of isolation in this period. Like, I was kind of letting her handle all the tough work, I guess I would say, as far as like cribs, clothes, diapers, what it's gonna look like. I was basically out of the picture, I would say, unfortunately, during this season. She had to bear a lot of that on her own. We did go to the Moving Forward class together. So that is something I feel like is a seed that kind of helped us along the journey. And although she was at my parents' house and I was on campus, that's when I got more serious about the responsibility and what that looked like to not only provide for my daughter that was gonna be coming along, but my new wife at the time. So 19 years old, she's 20. The moment she was born, it just, I remember the picture. I have a picture just like on my desk, but the moment she was born, holding her, it kind of got really real for me. Like, I feel like that was the beginning of the letting go of the past, letting go of those things that were fighting to pull me back into darkness or whatever. That was the beginning, even to accepting Christ. I feel like she was a part of that. She was a seed that was planted that allowed me to open up to even seeing God in a new way. So it was around the time where Anaya was born. Santana rededicated her life, and she started going to church. And I was still doing my thing, going to the club, smoking, drinking, all those things, but she was taking Anaya faithfully to church, and she'll look at me every Sunday like, "You gonna go?" And I'll be halfway alert and like, "No, I'm not going," you know. But she'll faithfully go, her and Anaya. And it was one day she looked at me, and she after she asked me, and she said, "What are you waiting on?" We were learning on the fly. Santana came from a one-parent household. I came from two. So it's like how the Bible talks about two becoming one. In that two becoming one, it wasn't just two becoming one, it's almost three becoming one, because we had a child as well, and just had to learn what that looks like from the aspect of parenting, what that looks like to parent. Like, you're saved, I'm not saved. You know, that's a struggle right there in and of itself. Finances, are we gonna put her in daycare? Or are we gonna one of us is gonna stay home? Like, just spending time together. Like, there was no honeymoon phase. You had get married, wedding, and you had a infant, you know, all at the same time. So it just created this storm of beautiful moments, and there were also moments where chaos, because you still are learning yourself. I'm learning myself. It's one thing to learn yourself as an adult in marriage, as a newly married couple, but to learn yourself as a teenager, and then to add on top of that an infant when you didn't have a foundation, we were basically an easy target for the enemy, because there were so many distractions. It was so many just emotions and feelings in that moment, and that would be hard for a seasoned person, but to a seasoned Christian. But for just an infant, you know, Christian, for her being an infant Christian, me not being saved, it just created a very interesting time. I think Santana would say our first 3 years were like crazy, and I had to take ownership for that. But I thought I knew what love was. I thought I loved Santana when we got married at that young age. But having Anaya, it was a different type of love. It was a love, like the unconditional love. Like, it's nothing that she could have done or even now can do that will change the way that I love her. I keep telling myself I had to change her name in my phone, but in my phone is my baby. Like, you know, so it's still, at the age of 20, I still look at her as my baby. She's somebody who changed my life. Just to see that was sung was something that was a pivotal moment for me. So in seeing her, it's almost like a mirror. I could see myself or see how God looks at me. And like, there's nothing that I could do that he wouldn't forgive me for. So yeah, I think that was the initial phase, just of God being loving. God the Father is love. So it transitioned to just grace and peace. Like, as she's grown older, as all my other kids are getting older and they do things that kids do, you have to be gracious, you know? You have to be patient. So I've seen through my kids how God is patient with me, and see almost like the arrows that God talks about in the Word, like the building legacy. Like, it's more than just us and our four, but like, how can we impact others? So